that down, let's move on to this, shall we? At the box office this weekend, something happened that some people didn't believe would happen. Superman, on its 16th day in theaters, has crossed the $500 million mark. It is now sitting at $502 million, rapidly approaching what I, for a couple of years, said would be optimistic box office numbers, which would be somewhere between 600 and 700 million. So it's closing in on that. And I thought that would be optimistic simply because of all the damage that the DCEU did. And it hangs around Superman's neck like a lead weight when you're trying to swim in a lake. It just is what it is. And this Superman movie, I've said for 2 years, just needs to rehabilitate that image. But in just 16 days, it's crossed the $500 million mark. To put that into perspective, it's not the fastest film that James Gunn has ever had get to 500 million. For example, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which went on to make over $800 million at the box office, made it in 11 days, I believe. So you can probably kind of give some kind of trajectory at that. What's even more important, as we step into the Campea classroom, is the notion of, does this movie make money? I've had some doubts. Like, I thought it was possible it could become profitable, but I've had my doubts that it could even break even. And I've said for 2 years, it doesn't really matter if it makes money or not, because they're looking at this long term. Does this movie come out and win the audience over so that the future DCU can continue to grow and make money? And that's the important thing. But a lot of people didn't believe it could break even. There are two different trains of thought out there when it comes to what is the formula for figuring out what a break-even point is for any movie. The real answer is that every film is different. There's no exact formula, but there are general principles. The one commonly accepted one is the idea of production cost times 2.5. In this case, production cost is 220 million. So multiply that by 2.5 and you get the above answer at 550 million is the break-even point for this movie. Now, that is not, I believe, the most accurate formula. The formula I believe is the most accurate, and this is what I learned in my days working at AMC theaters with the actual exhibitor who would often talk about this stuff. It's not far off, but here's the basic gist. The formula I always do is production plus marketing multiplied by 1.5. That's the formula that I believe is the more accurate. Production cost plus marketing, multiply that total by 1.5. In the case of Superman, we're talking about 220 million plus, we've talked about a lot of different what the marketing numbers could be. Some people go as low as about 90 million. Some people go as high as 200 million. What I've recently been told is that the actual production or marketing cost for Superman was right around $150 million, which is ridiculously expensive. I thought it might have been more, but they're telling me that's what it is. Okay, so we'll go with 150 million. So it would be that added together, which of course would equal $370 million. So you multiply that by 1.5, and forgive me as I pull out my calculator to do the things, but 370 million multiplied by 1.5 equals a very different $555 million break-even point.
That's okay.
So whichever formula you use, whether you use the one most people do, which is the P times 2.5, or whether you use what I believe is the slightly more accurate one, which is P plus M multiplied by 1.5, generally the consensus now is that Superman needs to make around 550 to 555. Let's go even more expensive. Let's say 570 for argument's sake on the top end. It now looks like Superman is going to be profitable. I've said for a long time it doesn't even need to be, as long as it's a great movie and is good and wins the audience over, which it did. But it looks like it's still going to cross that threshold anyway and maybe get up to what I thought was the optimistic number of 600 to 700 million dollars. Anyway, Rob, 16 days in theater, Superman does cross the $500 million mark. It looks like it's closing in on the actual profitability thing, something I doubted. But what's your takeaway from this?
Well, I would like to add, I think your math is sound. I think somebody tweeted out, because there's still this online war between factions of people talking about whether or not James Gunn's, the Snyder Bros are talking about what are we called? Gun crazies, whatever it is we're called. And like there's two, but somebody pointed out, this guy, Entertainment Biz, posted an interesting article back from June 2013. And here's the article. Man of Steel almost recoups its budget before it's even released. And it makes the point that commercial deals for Man of Steel mean that it's already made $170 million. Something no one is talking about. I worked on this for Warner Brothers with Superman Returns. They make, whenever you see like any product, you go to Dairy Queen right now, Superman's all over it. Those companies pay the studio to do a co-branding deal with the movie. I'm willing to bet that Superman, those co-branding deals, has brought in, if not $100 million, like this article said, $170 million, maybe $200 million.
Or more. Yeah.
Or more to the studio. These are co-branding. This is profit that nobody's talking about. But it happens with big movies like this. And Superman has, I saw an ad for a Superman branded knife for your kitchen. That's $800.
Oh my
and
God.
it's a special. And by the way, I want one.
You
But
said that like you were Kirk, Shatner's Kirk.
like
$800 million.
You would not believe. But okay, that's just one co-branding deal. So the studio has unbelievable amounts of these marketing tie-ins that is bringing in the money that we don't even realize. So there's all these people talking about whether it's going to be profitable or not. Well, I point you to that Yahoo article from the date I said that showed that Man of Steel had 170 million. Let's just go by that number. Let's add 170 million to the grosses of James Gunn's Superman now and say, and by the way, those aren't split with theaters. Mm-hmm. Those deals, that money goes right to the studio.
Right.
So there is other factors that many of us armchair movie box office prognosticators are not aware of. And I think for a movie like Superman, just wander around a mall or wander around whatever. Out, you go down to Riverside Redlands where I live. You could go into half the stores there and see Superman branding deals. So there's a lot. The movie's making a lot of money.
Yeah. Now I admit I often don't take that in because
right. Well, we never know.
Yeah, because number one, we never know.
It's not reported.
And they don't record it and they don't actually tell us. So all we can do is speculate. The other reason I kind of like to focus on just the, P plus M multiply is because what does the movie do?
Right, exactly.
How does the movie do on its own with how much it costs to make it and how many people buy movie tickets to go see it? But yes, I mean, this Superman movie, I can't remember the last time I mean, this has more co-branding deals than I think I saw for Avatar.
100%. And not only that, there's the secondary markets. I mean, we don't have as many secondary market revenue streams that movies had, but it will do well on SVOD. It'll make. And by the way, how long did you say it's been out?
16. Well, when the box office report came in, 16 days.
16 days. Well, we've got the rest of the summer. I'm sure Superman will, let's call it a 45-day window, which is, if it plays for 45 days, that means it's going to play through August, along with Fantastic Four and whatever other movies come out. Look, I think this movie is going to make it to 700 million worldwide.
Really?
I do.
I still don't see it getting 700, but I think that 600 million mark is now within reach. But it would be great if it got to 700.
I mean, if you look at the midweek numbers it did last week, it was still making $6 million a day, from Monday through Friday. So if it made, let's just go conservatively. If it made $4 million during the week, it's going to add 20 million to its coffers domestically.
Well, that's just domestically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's a foregone conclusion now that this movie is now just on its own is going to be profitable.
Yeah.
Not shatter the bank profitable, but it's going to be profitable again, which is something I wasn't.
It's a solid
sure
beginning.
Yes, for a brand new cinematic universe that's trying to dig itself out of the grave that the DCU put it in.
And
yes,
will you forget Supergirl's done?
Yep.
They can't let Lanterns has been paid for. They consider Peacemaker season 2 part of this. So this is just the beginning of it's not just the budget of this movie, it's the budget of multiple TV series and multiple movies that count toward these coffers. So you can't just look at this as one movie and compare and contrast, because this product was designed as part of a package of other products where the money's also already been spent. So,
all right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Superman has passed the $500 million mark in the pace of 16 days, which means it is going to cross that threshold. Whichever mathematical formula you choose to use, it's going to cross the threshold of profitability, something that I never thought it needed to do. And quite frankly, I had my doubts that it would, but it looks like it will. How high do you think it can go? Did it do its job like I contend it did when you look at its A- cinema score, its 92, 93% audience verified score, all that kind of stuff? Did it do its job of getting people excited about DC again, something they had totally lost all interest in before the launch of this new cinematic universe? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.